Okay, so we are online now. Namaste everybody, welcome to Yenri. At 8 o'clock every Sunday, we stream live and we chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita and try to understand its meaning and imbibe in our life, practice the knowledge which is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Last week, we finished chapter number 15, that is Purushottam Yoga. Today we are going to summarize, and Raja Rajeshwari ji is there with us. She is going to chant all the slokas. Please listen. Yeah, just a second, Raja Rajeshwari ji. Let me ask others also. Are you able to listen to her? Hello.
No, doctor.
Low volume, low voice.
Faint.
Okay, just try now. Raja, are you able to hear now?
No.
No, not yet.
Okay. Let us see 1 second. Okay, now try. Raja Rajeshwari ji, please. Raja Rajeshwari ji. Hello. Hari Om, please chant Amma. Now your phone got cut. Now you can continue. Continue.
कामदेश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयास्ये वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय विषयानुपसेवते उदक्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि द्वन्द्वानां वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यदन्तो योगिनैश्चैन्यं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यदन्तो व्यक्तुदात्मानः नैन्यं पश्यन्त चेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजः जगत्पासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्यमामकं कामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि संशतिः सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधं सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टः मत्तस्मृतिज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहं स्वामिवो पुरुषो लोके क्षरक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि ऊढस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमावेश्य विभक्तव्यय ईश्वरः यस्माक्षरमधीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवमसम्मूढाः जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया न च एतत् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् सुधकृत्यश्च भारत ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः। श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Thank you. Thank you very much, Raja Rajeshwari ji. If you are not able to join on Zoom, then please join on YouTube. Thank you very much. And are you planning to summarize also?
Yes, sir. I just joined. We joined.
Okay, let us try. Okay, thank you. Namaste. So this was 15th chapter shloka chanting. Now, as we all know that Srimad Bhagavad Gita starts in the scene of a war where a blind king, that is Dhritarashtra, is asking Sanjay about what is going on in the war field. And when Sanjay describes in the first chapter Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Arjuna is going down, he is trying to chicken out, and during that time Bhagavan Sri Krishna holds him and gives this eternal divine knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In the chapter 2, that is Sankhya Yoga, Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains Arjuna about what is real, what is unreal, what is birth, what is Atman, and so on and so forth. He explains about how to become a karma yogi in third chapter, that is Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. With that, he explains further about how to become detached from whatever karma we do, that is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The philosophy behind yoga, Sannyasa Yoga. Then how to meditate, he explains in Dhyana Yoga. What happens if we don't perfect ourselves in yoga? That also Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains. In 7th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna goes on to explain about Gnana and Vijnana, Gnana Vijnana Yoga. And he gives the idea about Prakriti, about three gunas, and then he goes on to explain about Akshara Brahman. That is in the 8th chapter, Akshara Brahma Yoga. After that, Bhagavan Sri Krishna helps Arjuna to understand more about Brahman, Prakriti, its ways, through Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Then he explains about what are the divine manifestations through Vibhuti Yoga. Then he gives him Darshana, that is Vishwarupa Darshana, in chapter 11. Chapter 12, he explains about Bhakti, that is Bhakti Yoga. Then in chapter 13, once again, he revisits the idea of Prakriti and Purusha through Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. In the next chapter, that is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains about the three gunas, that is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, how the process happens, how we are born into this, and what are the things which happen when we go beyond the gunas, that is Gunatitaha. In this chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, that is Purushottam Yoga. In this chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has explained about the tree of life and how to get moksha and how to become a competent person, how to understand the divine abode, how to understand our true selves. And then through our true selves, how to realize Purushottam. And now after that, we know that chapter 16, 17 and 18 are pending, that we will see what is going on in that from next week onwards. That is Devasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga and Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So today, I request, who is the person who is going to summarize?
Namaste, Doctor.
Padmaji. So Padmaji, I request you to summarize Purushottam Yoga in your own understanding. Please share your views on Purushottam Yoga.
Namaste, Henry Bandhus.
Namaste.
The 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, is a popular chapter. It is one of the most significant and complete chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This contains all the features of the Upanishads. The essence of Upanishads is contained in this chapter, and therefore this is very significant chapter. In the first 2.5 verses, Samsara Varnam, Sri Krishna compares the whole universe to a huge Ashwatha tree. Sri Krishna himself mentions several common features between the tree and the whole universe. It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. In Katha Upanishad, the tree called Ashwatha Vriksha, and in Manduka Upanishad, it is called Pipalam. In the Manduka Upanishad, all the living beings are compared to the birds which are seated on the samsara tree. And not only we are the birds seated on the samsara tree, we are constantly consuming the fruits which comes in the samsara vriksha. Fruits produced by the samsara tree are of two types. One is sukha-phalam and another is dukha-phalam. As the tree produces tasty and bitter fruits, the world is constantly produce pleasures and pains. And as birds, we are the jivas, will also experience pleasure and pain. Moksha is the transformation of the mind. Mind alone is the cause of bondage and the cause of liberation. In the verses 3 to 6, Sri Krishna prescribes fourfold disciplines to strengthen the mind: Vairagyam, Sadguna, Charanagati, and Atma Vichara. Vairagyam is freedom from addiction. Freedom from addiction to tamasic and rajasic pursuits of life. Any adharmic activity, unrighteous activity, unethical activity is called tamasic pursuit. And that is dharmic materialistic activities are called rajasic pursuits. The tamasic addiction will lead to spiritual downfall, and rajasic addiction will lead to spiritual stagnation. Tamasic and rajasic tendencies are balanced by performing sattvic addictions like attending Gita classes. The second sadhana is sadguna, developing virtues, which are conducive to Vedanta, conducive to spiritual growth. The third one is Sharanagati. The Sharanagati is whatever choiceless situations I fall in life, whatever helpless, choiceless situation I face in life, they are all specially sent by Lord for me, for the sake of my spiritual refinement and growth. The fourth one is Shastra Vichara, a study of Vedantic scriptures for a long time under the guidance of a competent acharya. All these four will cumulatively contribute to the reinforcement of the strengthening of the mind, which will lead to moksha. Moksha means freedom from mental weakness. Arjuna, the bravest warrior, was tormented by mental pain when a crisis arose. Sri Krishna says the fourfold sadhanas will lead you to Brahma Prapti. It will lead you to Brahman, which is the only source of strength in this universe. Sri Krishna points out that Brahman is nothing but the pure consciousness, which is formless, and all-pervading entity which objectifies everything and which itself cannot be objectified by anyone. From verse 7 to 15, Sri Krishna points out that Brahman alone appears in the form of the world. Brahman is the only substance. Consciousness is the only basic substance. And this Brahman, this consciousness alone, with different names and forms, appears as the material universe. Consciousness plus names and forms is fire, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, and all other elemental products. There is no substance called ornament. The substance is only gold. Vedanta says that there is one substance called consciousness. The formless consciousness manifests as the formed material of the creation. In the universe, some part will borrow the Sat Amsha, and while another part borrows both the Sat and Chit Amshas. Thus, Brahman is manifest in the universe in the form of Sat in some portions and in the form of Sat and Chit in some portions. It is called Jiva, while when Sat alone is manifest, it is called Jagat. And Sri Krishna concludes the portion saying, when Brahman is manifest in this whole creation, just as gold is manifest in all ornaments, Brahman is also manifest. If a person misses this Brahman, which is evident everywhere, that person must be a very gross and unrefined person, like looking at the ornaments and missing the gold. Then from 16 to 18 is Brahmana Purushottam. Brahman being Purushottama. See, Krishna divides the whole universe into three components. First part is manifest matter, the material, universal, visible to the sense organs. Second part is unmanifest matter, which is not sensorially perceptible. You can call it energy. Third part, beyond these two, matter and energy, the third part, which is all pervading consciousness principle, which is a distinct entity, the original consciousness. The first one is Kshara Purusha, the second one is Akshara Purusha, and the third one is Uttama Purusha. The word Uttama means the greatest. Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha both are inferior. Sri Krishna says Uttama Purusha or Purushottama is my real and higher nature. Every person in the beginning is not capable of appreciating the formless God. For them, you give your support in the Rama form, Krishna form, Shiva form, etc. Religious quarrel is meaningless if religion is not understood properly. In the verse 19 and 20, Sri Krishna talks about Brahmanyanam. Oh Arjuna, everyone has to attain the Brahmanyanam to derive mental strength so that you can live a life of a grahastha or life a sannyasi without any burden. To make the life meaningful, you have to attain this jnanam. With this jnanam and phalam, Sri Krishna concludes the 15th chapter. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Krishnarpanam.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Padmaji. Very nice summary. You have created a very beautiful summary of Purushottam Yoga. Very nice. And here just one very interesting example which Sri Ram Krishna, Guru of Swami Vivekananda, he has mentioned about our situation as human beings. We many a number of times, it's like window shopping. Our spiritual journey is like window shopping. Most of us do window shopping because there are so many questions which need to be answered, and if the questions are not answered, then we feel empty, and then we go and try to fill ourselves with some more and some other different varieties of knowledge. So about this, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna has explained very beautifully with an example of a marketplace. So when we are outside of the marketplace, everything, whatever we see, looks as if it is a chaos. We just, hear people shouting, we just hear people moving, we see people moving, so on and so forth. But as we enter into the marketplace, every communication starts becoming more and more clear. As we go closer and closer to things, we start understanding how this market is working. So this confusion which we feel, is because we are not ready to surrender ourselves to the chaos. We are not ready to surrender ourselves to the difficulties which may come on the way. We just want to stand on the corner and want to have the benefits also at the same time. So for learning to swim, we cannot learn by just standing at the edge of the water. We have to jump. We have to learn to move our hands and legs, breathe, and then that is how we will be able to swim. That is how we will be able to understand the marketplace. That is how we will be able to understand Ishvara. That is why we will be able to understand Purushottama. That is how we will be able to understand Brahma. So that's a very beautiful example by Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. I hope that this makes sense to all of us. Now, next person, who is the person who is going to summarize?
नमस्कार सभी एनजी बंधु।
नमस्ते गौतम।
मेरा आवाज सभी को सुनाई दे रहा है ठीक से?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
ओके। आज नरसिंह अवतरण दिवस भी है लग रहा है, और आज भगवद गीता का ये हमारा सेशन भी है, तो सोने पे सुहागा जैसा हो रहा है। आज बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है हमको कि आज हम श्रीमद् भगवद गीता पुरुषोत्तम योग का सार आप लोगों के सामने प्रस्तुत करने जा रहा हूं। तो शुरू करते हैं। ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद् भगवद गीता अथ पंचदश अध्यायः पुरुषोत्तम योग। जय श्री कृष्ण। इस 15वें अध्याय के बारे में जो दिलचस्प और ज्ञानवर्धक है वो यह है कि भगवान कृष्ण सर्वव्यापी सर्वोच्च होने की मार्ग की बात करते हैं। पूर्ण सत्य जो कि वह है। सांसारिक जीवन से वैराग्य का मार्ग इस दिव्य खोज का मार्ग है। सांसारिक या भौतिक जगत की तुलना अविनाशी अश्वत्थ वृक्ष या अंजीर के पेड़ के साथ की जाती है। विरोधाभासी रूप से, हालांकि इस पेड़ के जड़ें ऊपर है और नीचे शाखाएं हैं। यह पदार्थ की दुनिया को उसकी सभी विविधता शाखाओं के रूप में, और इस सृष्टि की चेतना जड़ जो है अर्थात जड़ की सूक्ष्म दुनिया का प्रतीक है। वैदिक भजन जो हमें ऊपर उठाने में मदद करते हैं वे इस पेड़ के पत्ते हैं। जिस प्रकार पेड़ के पत्ते उसे पोषण देने में मदद करते हैं, उसी तरह वेदों का सार सीखने से मनुष्य को उच्च शिक्षा प्राप्त करने में मदद मिलती है। जो इस विषय को जानता है वो वेदों को जानते हैं। भगवान कहते हैं यह वृक्ष भौतिक संसार के साथ हमारे उलझावों का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है। पेड़ की शाखाएं ऊपर और नीचे की ओर फैली होती है और गुणों से पोषित होती है। जैसे हम लोग 14वें अध्याय में सतह, रजस और तमस के बारे में जान लिया है। और टहनियाँ इंद्रियों का प्रतिनिधित्व करती है। और द्वितीय जड़ें नीचे की ओर फैली हुई है जो मनुष्य को कभी ना खत्म होने वाली इच्छाओं और उस लक्ष्य की ओर की जाने वाली क्रियाओं का प्रतिनिधित्व करती है, जिसके कारण वे अपनी इंद्रियों के गुलाम है। मनुष्य जितना अधिक जीवन के इन बुनियादी लक्ष्य की ओर पीछा करता है उतना ही वो उनसे बंधा होता है। तो जो सांसारिक जीवन में शामिल है वे इस विशाल वृक्षों के वास्तविक स्वरूप को नहीं देख सकते हैं। सर्वोच्च सत्ता की ओर प्रगति किए बिना एक शाखा से दूसरे शाखा में भटकते रहता है, क्योंकि उनके कार्यों का उद्देश्य किसी उच्च उद्देश्य तक पहुंचने के लिए नहीं है, बल्कि बुनियादी पशु प्रवृत्ति को संतुष्ट करना है। ऐसे लोगों के लिए इस पेड़ का कोई अंत नहीं है। जीवन में उच्च उद्देश्य की प्राप्ति के लिए संकल्प के साथ इस वृक्षों को काटना चाहिए। यह भौतिक संसार को छोड़कर किया जा सकता है, वैराग्य और वैराग्य के हथियारों के साथ किया जा सकता है। भगवान श्री कृष्ण कहते हैं कि कुछ लोग मुक्ति प्राप्त कर सकते हैं, जैसे कि वो जो अभिमान, मोह और लोभ से मुक्त है, सुख और दुख के प्रति उदासीन है, और ज्ञान से मुक्त है, आध्यात्मिक पथ पर है और सर्वोच्च दिव्य व्यक्ति को समर्पण करते हैं। जो लोग इस स्थिति में पहुंच गए हैं वे समझते हैं कि ये सूर्य, चंद्रमा या अग्नि नहीं है जो दुनिया को प्रकाशित करता है, बल्कि सर्वोच्च प्रकाश है। यह उच्च समझ का प्रकाश है जो हमारी चेतना को प्रकाशित करता है। भौतिक वस्तु के वैराग्य के कारण ऐसे लोगों के लिए कलह और सांसारिक जीवन समाप्त हो जाता है। वे फिर कभी भौतिक दुनिया में लौटने की इच्छा नहीं रखते। भगवान कृष्ण कहते हैं कि दुनिया में जीव उनका हिस्सा है। शरीर, मन और आत्मा में 6 इंद्रिया के साथ दुनिया का जीव अनुभव करता है। केवल एक आत्मा या चेतना है, लेकिन वो एक के बाद एक शरीर से जुड़ती है, इच्छा को समाप्त करने की कोशिश करती है, जैसे हवा विभिन्न सुगंधों को वहन करती है। भगवान श्री कृष्ण कहते हैं कि यह ज्ञानी आत्मा यह नहीं जानता कि यह आत्मा वही है। हालांकि कुछ लोग इसे ऐसे भी है जो इसे जान समझते हैं, जिन्होंने भौतिकवादी होना छोड़ दिया है, जिन्होंने आत्मा की अविभाजित प्रकृति को समझ लिया है कि यह कोई शरीर नहीं है बल्कि एक आत्मा है जो कई शरीरों से गुजरती है। जो स्थिर दिमाग से समझने की कोशिश करते हैं और उच्च ज्ञान प्रशिक्षित होते हैं। भगवान कृष्ण आगे कहते हैं कि वे सूर्य और चंद्रमा जैसे प्रकाशमान पिंडों के प्रकाश के स्रोत और जीवन के पालन करता है। वह पाचक अग्नि को सक्रिय करने वाला और आने वाली और बाहर जाने वाली वायु को नियंत्रित करने वाला है। संक्षेप में वह सभी जीवन का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है, क्योंकि वह हर दिल में रहता है। भगवान कहते हैं कि वह वेदांत के मूल शिक्षक है और सभी वेदों को जानने वाला भी है। इसके अलावा पुरुष 2 प्रकार के होते हैं, खरा यानी नाशवान और अक्षरा यानी अविनाशी। खरा में सभी व्यक्ति एवं उनके भौतिक गतिविधियां शामिल है। इसमें परिवर्तन के अधीन सब कुछ शामिल है। अक्षरा आध्यात्मिक दुनिया में सब कुछ शामिल है जो परिवर्तन के अधीन नहीं है। इन 2 प्रकारों के ऊपर एक पुरुष है जिसे पुरुषोत्तम कहा जाता है, सर्वोच्च व्यक्ति जो सभी में व्याप्त है। भगवान कृष्ण कहते हैं कि जैसे वे नाशवान से परे हैं और अविनाशी से भी श्रेष्ठ है, वे वही पुरुषोत्तम है। जो लोग ऐसे समझते हैं और इसकी सराहना करते हैं वे ज्ञान प्राप्त करते हैं और अपने प्रयासों में पूर्णता प्राप्त करते हैं। जय श्री कृष्ण। सर्वम श्री कृष्ण अर्पणमस्तु।
बहुत अच्छे, थैंक यू वेरी मच गौतम फॉर सच अ ब्यूटीफुल समरी। आज नहीं था
धन्यवाद।
नरसिम्हा जयंती, कल था, 14 तारीख कल था, आज तो 15 तारीख है ना।
जी जी धन्यवाद सर।
कल
मैं
था,
ध्यान
चतुर्दशी
नहीं
कल
दिया।
था। नो प्रॉब्लम, फिर भी आपको भी नरसिम्हा जयंती की शुभकामनाएं हैं। एक
जी
श्लोक, one श्लोक is there which is interesting and at the same time it gives lots of information. Why I am discussing this shloka is because this shloka is the essence of our struggle as human beings. That is why I am trying to discuss this shloka once again. Maybe last time when we had discussed this shloka, I would not have spoken much, but today I am feeling like discussing this shloka. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मनवस्थितम् यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त चेतसः. What does it mean? It means that those who who try to be one with their own selves with the practice of yoga, and with that they will be able to achieve their true selves, okay, and get established in the Atman. But there are some people who are ignorant and who are impure by heart, and they are, even though they try, they do their best efforts, they are not able to reach till the Atman, and they become achetasaha. Achetasaha means not conscious. Okay, so here, no, what creates impurity in all of us, that we have to understand. One is the body ego, that we have this body. One is this attachment to the body. Another one impurity in us is mind ego, means we have this emotion, we have some characteristics in the mind. That ego also traps us. We have the ego of our intelligent body, mind, intellect. Okay, this intelligent, like I am a neurosurgeon, I am a certified yoga therapist, falana dhamka dikna, all these things, they create impurity in the mind. So basically what happens, I, this is what happens. And basically any aspect of our work, there is attachment. Always there is terms and conditions applied, like that. So that is how this impurity, it creates achetana. We become selfish. We become selfish. How we become selfish, that we have to see. So selfishness, this impurity of I-ness, comes from, it starts from our thinking process. Just give one thought. See, when it starts in our mind, it starts in our thinking process, it starts, and from thinking process it goes into our action. So from manas it is coming into action. Okay, and that we another actions are distributed in various types. One of the actions is how we enjoy ourselves. Is our enjoyment a very selfish kind of enjoyment, where we don't share our happiness with others? Then is our speech, whenever we are speaking, are we speaking as if we are very selfish? Try, means you will come to know, and you will understand what I am trying to say. And when we are doing some action, there are sometimes we conceal some actions, no, because of, if we have done some negative action, so we want to hide it so that nobody should come to know. So in that place also our selfishness, our I-ness comes into play. In what we see in others, that is very, very important. what we see in others. See, many a times others will misjudge us, and some many a times we will be judging others wrong. Okay, so are we ready to correct our judgment process, correct our how we see things? Now, suppose there is recently I had given one example. No, last Sunday I think we had discussed about somebody lifting somebody's mobile on the airport. So when I see a mobile, when I see a random mobile just like that, what do I do? Do I flick it and run away, or do I find out whose mobile is this and try to give back that mobile to the person? So that is what is when there is a duality of mind. And selfishness comes in our sharing of knowledge also. Many a times, no, we know things, but we don't want to share, thinking that one is that you fear that if you share the knowledge, your uniqueness will go away. One, or else you fear that others are inferior to you and they will not be able to understand. So these are the impurities which we come across, and how to purify is very, very easy. One is to become selfless completely. Another one is to devote ourselves completely. Another one is to continuously acquire the divine knowledge. And another one is to practice dharma, to practice adhyatma in its true sense. For that, we have to be continuously analytical of our own self rather than others. So that is how we will be able to achieve our divine self. Okay, thank you very much. Next one.
Namaste, Doctor. Namaste, Doctor. Rajesh.
Raja Rajeshwari ji, please.
Sri Krishna Arpanam. Lord Krishna in this chapter addresses the nature of the world. Our existence in this world is illustrated using an upside down tree similar to a family tree. The root of this tree is Ishvara, wielding the power of Prakriti, the Saguna Brahman, the eternal essence with attributes. Samsara, our existence on this world, is the outward growth of this tree. This growth is fueled by sense objects which are in the form of sprouts or buds. Each sense object generates desires, which generates actions, which bind us to the branches of the tree. And we even Satvik sage who is doing a yajna for the sake of some materialist, this one, maybe he will be gaining punya, but he has to go to the Devaloka, finish his punyas, and he has to have a rebirth, finish his karmas, and then try to go for liberalization. Lord stresses the need to seek the path to realize the pervading supreme being. Different methods to achieve this is clearly explained in each and every stanza in this chapter. Also explains about two Purushas, the Akshara, the perishable, and the Akshara, imperishable. Sorry. And Lord Krishna explains about Purushottama, the supreme being who pervades all. One who understands this attains wisdom and perfection in their hearts. Yeah, and so by this we understand that I in us is the I in everyone, that is all pervading, the self of all. Sarvam Krishnarpan.
Thank you very much, Raja Rajeshwari ji. I in self is I in all. That is the essence. The Paramatma, Purushottama, Brahman is all pervading. That is what we need to understand. And when we understand this, we will be able to detach ourselves from various attachments. We will become more and more compassionate. We will become more and more Daya, Karuna, and Maitri will develop within us, and we will not have that intense desire to prove ourselves, because we know that everywhere it is we only, and we will be able to practice tapascharya. We will be able to do swadhyaya. We will be able to do, and through that we will be able to develop something called as solitude. We in current era, no, we all launch for company. We all launch, when we are alone, we miss out on so many things. Many patients come to me, there is a common story many a number of times. My wife is not here, my husband is not here, or I am working alone. So during that time, what people are doing is they are drinking, they are smoking, and they are destroying themselves. So this loneliness, they are not able to transform into solitude. Why? Because they don't know what is the importance of being alone with oneself. Because at that time you will be able to find your true self. You will be able to expand your consciousness. So there is a difference between loneliness and solitude. In solitude, you will find everybody together, but not in physical manner, but in divine manner. That is what is solitude. And when we develop these attitudes, of Maitri, Karuna, Daya, Mudita, so during that time, what will happen? We will be able to do the work which is beneficial for the mankind. Not only for ourselves, but it is good for the mankind. And during that time, we will be able to get rid of our idea of becoming famous also. It will just, you will enjoy that, okay, you have done your job and you will corner yourself. You will become like anonymous mode, or what is called as aeroplane mode. Okay. And that is how we will be able to achieve this simplicity. We will be able to achieve, and through that we'll be able to achieve Brahman. Okay, so it is not just by discussing or just by reading. It is by action, and these actions are as if we are not going to take any kind of credit for our actions. We are going to take responsibility for our actions, but we are not going to take credit for our actions. These are all selfless actions. With that understanding, we pause here, adopt Namaskara Mudra, Omkar followed by. Anybody wants to sing any bhajan or anything? If they are interested, we have another 12-13 minutes are there. Anybody?
Okay, I will sing, Doctor.
Very nice. Please, Padmaji.
Simharupanad Sri Hare, Simharupanad Sri Hare, Bonamagirisane Simharupanad Sri Hare, Bonamagirisane Simharupanad Sri Hare. ಉಮ್ಮದದಿಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮನು ಭಜಿಪರ್ ಸಮ್ಮದದಿಂತ ಕಾಯ್ವನಿಂದು ಉನ್ಮದದಿಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮನು ಭಜಿಪರ್ ಸಮ್ಮದದಿಂತ ಕಾಯ್ವನಿಂತು ಸಿಂಹರೂಪನಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಹರೇ. ತರಳನ್ನು ಕರೆಯೇ ಸ್ತಂಭನು ಬೀರ್ಯೆ ಉಗ್ರ ರೂಪವಾದೋರಿದನು. ದರನ್ನು ಕರೆಯೇ ಸ್ತಂಭನು ಬೀರ್ಯೆ ಉಗ್ರ ರೂಪವಾದೋರಿದನು. ಕರಲನ್ನು ಬಗೆಡು ತನ್ನ ಕೊರಲೊಳಗೆ ತರುಣನ ಸಲಹಿತ ಶ್ರೀ ನರಸಿಂಹ. ಕರಲನ್ನು ಬಗೆಡು ದನ ಕೊರಲೊಳಗಿಡ ತರುಣನ ಸಲಹಿತ ಶ್ರೀ ನರಸಿಂಹ. ಸಿಂಹರೂಪ ನಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಹರೇ. ಭಕ್ತರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡಿ ಬಹುದೂರ ಓಡಿ ಪರಮ ಶಾಂತವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದರು. ಭಕ್ತರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡಿ ಬಹುದೂರ ಓಡಿ ಪರಮ ಶಾಂತವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದರು. ಕರೆಡುದ ಸಿರಿಯನು ತೊಡೆಯನ್ನು ಪೂರಿಸಿ ಪರಮ ಹರ್ಷವನು ಕೊಂಡಿತ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ. ಕರೆಡುದ ಸಿರಿಯನು ತೊಡೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂರಿಸಿ ಪರಮಹರ್ಷವನು ಕೊಂಡಿತ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ ಸಿಂಹ ರೂಪನಾದ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ. ಜಯ ಜಯವೆಂದು ಹೂವೆನ ತಂದು ಹರಿಹರಿ ಎಂದು ಸಿರಲಲ ಸ್ಮರಿಸ. ಜಯ ಜಯವೆಂದು ಹೂವೆನ ತಂದು ಹರಿಹರಿ ಎಂದು ಸಿರಲಲ ಸ್ಮರಿಸ. ಭಯ ನಿವಾರಣ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪನ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ. ಭಯ ನಿವಾರಣ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪಣ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ಸಿಂಹ ರೂಪನಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಹರೇ. ಬೋ ನಾಮ ಗಿರೀಸನೆ ಸಿಂಹ ರೂಪನಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಹರೇ. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Padmaji, for such a nice Shri Hari bhajana. Anybody wants to chant any bhajan? Anybody wants to sing? Okay, so I think we are done here for today. One more shloka we will add, and with that we will finish. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschit Dukhabhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With your eyes closed, slowly take your both the hands back. Hold your right wrist with the left palm. Inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale, bend from the front of the back, touch your two hands to the ground. Express gratitude to Mother Earth, Almighty, your parents and gurus. Slowly inhale and come up. Slowly release your hands. With few blinks, you may open your eyes. Thank you very much, everybody, for your active participation. And
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್.
yes,
ಶುಭರಾತ್ರಿ.
thank you very much. With this, we finish chapter number 15, that is Purushottam Yoga. And from next week, the chapter, if you are there with me from the day when we started this beautiful journey of Corona time yoga, at that time, if you remember, we started with Daiviya Sampat and Asuri Sampat. One by one, every day, one, Daiviya Sampat we had discussed. And yes, so this was the point where we started. So we are going to revise this again. Thank you very much. And Shubharatri, have a nice day. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Nama.
Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Shubharatri, sabhi ko.
Shubharatri.